That scream was the beginning of the end. Daniel warned them, yet nobody listened. He told them, yet they scolded him. They dismissed him. They said it was just because of what happened in the past, that he should learn to forgive and forget. But Daniel was serious this time. He wasn't imagining things. And tell me, why should I forgive and forget, after all that happened to me? Not only me, but that little girl too. I'm sorry, but I'm not that good of a person, Daniel whispered to himself. Okay, fine, let me explain what happened. Let me tell you the whole story. But be warned, it's painful. Mr. John was what they called a family friend, but not Daniel's. He could never be Daniel's friend. He was just the houseboy, brought from the village, an errand boy, a shadow in their mansion. Mr. Victor, the man of the house, he ran one of the biggest tech companies in the state. Rich, influential, great. They called him a success story. His wife? She owned a massive boutique. It was even rumored the governor's wife shopped there. Together, they were a power couple. Then one day, Mr. John, her brother, came from the village. The moment Daniel saw him, he hated him. And after what he did to him, he hated him even more. There was something off about that man. One morning, Mr. Victor dropped his briefcase on the parlor table, then went back inside. He must have forgotten something. Daniel was cleaning the floor. He saw him. He greeted him with extreme respect. He nodded, gentle as always. A good man, humble, despite his wealth. His wife came out too, walking across the freshly mopped floor like she was doing it on purpose. She was different, wicked, proud, smiles for others, but hatred for Daniel. Always. He used to overhear her arguing with Mr. Victor. She hated his relatives visiting. Outside family always brings problems, that was she said. And you know what? In the end, she was right. But why wasn't she so tense when her own brother came? But it's okay. Now they're about to see what he saw. Daniel turned his face to see the John guy in the parlor all of a sudden. He said that madam was calling him in the kitchen. So he went. But upon reaching there, he didn't see anyone. He was confused. Daniel came back to the parlor, hoping to speak to him. But he saw two faces before him, staring at him coldly. He stammered, "Jig, good morning, good morning." He had even forgotten that he had greeted them already. "So you are a thief?" A loud shout cut across the parlor. "What?" Daniel's surprise at this moment was huge. He couldn't even understand what was happening. "The money in the briefcase, where is it?" Mr. Victor calmly asked. Unlike his wife, he was quiet. But there was strong disappointment in his eyes. "Of course, he took it. I always told you to leave your village people alone. Is your brother not here today?" Mr. Victor asked, frowning at her. Mrs. Victor became quiet. She indeed could not defend himself. "I didn't steal it," Daniel stammered. He now understood what had happened. That John demon was the one that had taken it. They were laying blame on my head. John was in the parlor too. Daniel had to defend himself. "Shut up! John is sick! He fell sick yesterday. He is still sleeping in his room." This time Mr. Victor was mad. No small beating and insults did Daniel receive that day. What broke his heart even more was the strong disappointment his role model, Mr. Victor, had towards him. Started giving him the cold treatment and snobbish attitude. Daniel could never forgive. After everything, he could see that demon John still pretending like as if he could not eat or could not walk. Like as if he was infected with the most deadliest of illnesses. But he was very agile and healthy that morning. He would smile at Daniel from time to time, as if to say, what can he do? Daniel felt like killing someone. His anger was like the rumbling thunder in the dark sky. The other times Daniel would see that same disgusting smile was when this criminal was with the little princess of the house, the only daughter of the Victor family. Precious was her name. And yes, she was indeed precious. She was innocent and gentle and kind, seemed to resemble her father more. Daniel was sure if she was anything like her mother, she would have been a little witch. She even tried to help around the house with chores, just to play with him. He would always laugh in amusement any time he would see the little girl try to hold a mop stick taller than her. She was a good girl. That was why he would never forgive John. It was a rainy evening. It was the time for Mr. and Mrs. Victor to start coming, but maybe the rain had delayed them. Daniel was on his bed. He wanted to sleep. After all, sleeping with rainfall was one of the most relaxing moments of someone's life. But as he was half asleep, his eyelids already sealed tight, he heard something. It was not a normal sound. Daniel frowned. But he was not willing to stop his sweet sleep. He ignored it. He heard it again. He ignored. But all of a sudden, something fell, and instantly jumped to his feet. All sleep left his eye, only shock, confusion, and a hint of fear. He moved out of the room. He heard that same sound again. He traced it to the kitchen. He reached there, and he could not believe it. On a chair in the kitchen, he saw Precious on top John's lap, and his face was very strangely close to hers. You could tell she was very uncomfortable. Those sounds he was hearing were the sounds she was making due to her discomfort. "Precious, come here!" While John was all smiles and was running his hands all over Precious's body, a loud shout broke out. John hurriedly stood up. Precious also quickly ran to Daniel's back. She was already in tears. Daniel, upon seeing her face, was consumed with anger. Only God could imagine what she had passed through, what she had felt, and she was only 10 years old! Daniel's heart was pounding fiercely. His blood was boiling hot. How was he even so sure this was the first time this was happening? There were some few times only this John and Precious were the only ones in the house. What vexed Daniel even more was that this John had the gall and the courage to actually be angry back. John was shouting at him, telling him that he was only playing with Precious. "Is that how you play?" Daniel reached out for a nearby kitchen knife. A very dangerous spirit had taken over him. He wanted blood. All three of them turned. Either the husband or the wife had finally returned. Daniel took the little girl to the side and whispered, "Make sure you tell your parents. Make sure you tell them everything that just happened." But Precious kept on shaking her head profusely, kept on saying she could not tell anybody, that she could not tell anyone. But Daniel was confused. He couldn't understand. He asked why. Precious answered that if she told anybody, a big dragon will come and swallow her. You could the lies John had been telling this young girl. Daniel was fed up. He was angry. How could such a heartless, disgusting person even exist? He marched to the door and saw both Mr. and Mrs. Victor at the door. He was surprised. They came back together today? Well, he quickly narrated what had just happened. But what happened blew Daniel's mind away. After everything he had said, the both of them didn't even pay attention. Mrs. Victor in particular eyed him badly. She pushed Daniel away. They dismissed him, saying John was just playing with their daughter. And after all, I was a thief, right? What truth does a thief have to say? What Daniel noticed after was the very obvious tiredness in their souls. They looked sluggish, their eyes reddened, and their heads were wobbly. They were tired from their stressful works all day. Daniel stood by the side, body shaking, teeth cracking. They were so busy with work that they didn't even know what was happening in their own house. He knew he could not say anything to them again. Daniel gave up. But tomorrow, something unexpected was about to happen, and it didn't concern only Precious, but also him as well. Daniel! Daniel! Daniel was shaken out of his relaxation. He frowned. What was the problem now? Any time that annoying woman would call his name like that, it was always for something bad. He had already done all the chores, so what was the issue? He moved to the parlor and he was surprised to see husband and wife there. Mr. Victor is meant to have gone to work already. Why was he still around? I want to apologize. Upon seeing them, Daniel heard Mr. Victor smiling at him. Daniel was stunned. He then saw a phone in Precious's hand. After seeing the contents of the screen, he now understood everything. So it turned out Precious, on that morning John had stolen the money, had been behind the door recording the whole scene. His heart warmed and his joy exploded, but he was confused. Why didn't Precious bring out this strong piece of evidence since? Why allow him to suffer in disgrace throughout these days, to collect all those beatings and abuse? But what Daniel did understand was that Precious was very afraid and terrified of John, that she was probably very fearful as of whether to tell. She was only 10 years old. At this age, she was gullible, naive, easily misled and intimidated. It was no wonder she had not even told them about what John was doing. Mr. Victor rendered his apologies with an embarrassed face, but his wife, that one was a different case. She remained unremorseful and unapologetic. That was just the kind of woman she was. Although Daniel was vindicated, he still didn't feel happy. Something heavy was on his chest. Something dark and sinister.